What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we are hopping into a replay of arguably the best AD carry now in 7.12. Draven has just come up massively this patch. I've been tracking it ever since the patch hit a couple of days ago, and he's just spanking literally everybody. So I thought we'd jump into a replay today of arguably one of the best Draven players in Korea. So a couple of reasons I want to do it this way. One, he uses a really weird ass build that I thought would be kind of cool to cover. It makes sense, but it's pretty different to what we use over here. And also, like, I can speed stuff up. Like, right now, I can actually make it go a bit quicker, and this will mean it's a quicker video, so you guys get to see what the Draven player is doing really well. We can kind of cover that, but you get to see the build and learn about stuff like that in a much more condensed version. I don't know, I could play these games if you want me to, a bit more entertaining probably, a bit longer though, so let me know what you'd prefer to see in the comments down below. But yeah, this guy has almost a 60% win rate with Draven in Master Tier over in Korea. He has about 250 games played. He's probably one of the best. There is a Draven main in Challenger, but he doesn't have any replays for this patch at the moment, so I would probably say he's like the second highest rated Draven player, like consistently anyway, over in Korea. So we're starting Doran's Blade. If I press tab, you can see down the bottom. Both started Doran's Blade against a Jhin. Why on earth do I not have minions health bars? There we go. Nice. Okay. Another interesting thing to note is this guy is running Warlord's Bloodlust. He's not running Further Battle. Now, sometimes he does, honestly, run Further. It really depends on the game. But this game, especially ever since the new patch, I was checking, ever since the new patch, he's been running Warlords, and he's been running with this build. So this build is going into Infinity Edge first, and then into Rapid Fire Cannon, and then into Essence Reaver, which normally, like, you never ever want to buy Essence Reaver really late into a game. It doesn't really make much sense. It's much better earlier. But what this is actually doing is basically giving you a load more AD, and it's instead of your second crit item. So basically, like, you know how some of us or some Draven players go Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Phantom Dancer for triple crit. Well, this guy instead is saying, okay, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do the more AD version, and I'm going to get an Essence Reaver third instead of having that. So we hit level 2, and they hit it like basically the same time, but he still goes really aggressive. And you can see, like, this is one of the biggest differences between any Draven player in Korea and over here at the moment, is this guy is so aggro, it's unreal. He manages to pick up a kill, which is really good. It gets first blood here, but they really don't mess around. Like, so Draven, one of the reasons he's got the highest win rate at the moment is because he, like, okay, so whenever you're looking at like win rates and stuff, if you don't understand why they have a really good win rate, you can't really abuse it to actually win with the champion, if that makes sense, right? So one of the things I always do on the channel is talk about how you actually get that really good win rate. And this is a bit weird, but Jhin just overstays. He has no summoners. Morgana cuts him off around the side, and he picks up 2 easy kills. So you guys know how much this is probably going to snowball already. If we have a look at his passive, I wonder if that will tell us how much he's already earned. It actually does in the replay file, which kind of sucks, but I reckon he's got about 200 gold extra probably already so far. Just from his passive. But anyway, so Draven itself is a really good champion early in the lane phase, and the reason he's actually the best AD in 7.12 at the moment is because he beats everybody else really, really hard. And one of the things that we'll talk about in a future video probably is there was a Door in the Shield nerf, right, in 7.12, which means that they only have 1 potion now, and less people are going to buy that. They're going to go more for a Door in the Shield, so we're going to skip this a little bit here. Oh, actually, apparently Morgana just 1v1 Bran pretty much. Interesting. But yeah, so more people are going to go Doran's Blade again. Even if with the Doran's Shield you have less sustain, which means lane champions are actually a bit better. So for example, Caitlyn's better, Draven's even better as well. And that's one of the really big things here is, like, if you go aggressive with Draven, you get ahead early. We'll look at more how he's going to get ahead. Obviously, this is a perfect start for him, but we'll look at what he's going to do with his lead now. Because with Draven, you can actually snowball that lead into a victory, whereas with other ADs, it's really tough, but that random ass snipe. Now, this is some of the stuff I watch, like a lot of Korean replays when I talk about my Korean pick video, for example, right? Like, I do quite a lot of research for that, and you can never predict a Korean jungler. Like, they're so aggressive, and they'll waste so much time to get a kill, but then they'll take something after it, right? But they're just so aggressive, like, they have no off switch. They're always trying to kill somebody. It's the same with, like, pretty much everybody, honestly. But if we press tab, he's gone back, he's bought BF Sword. No potions here, but he's bought a dagger and boots as well. So this is like the pretty much most aggressive thing you can buy, I'd assume, with this gold. He's actually trying to 1v2 already, which is kind of crazy. But the thing is, Jhin got double Dorans and boots because he's in a lot of trouble. And one of the things, like, at the moment is you kind of got to, like, not die against Draven because he snowballs so hard, and that's mainly because of his passive, right? So you get a kill, you get a few more, and then after that, he's going to spiral out of control, which is kind of what you see in this game. Once you get like a little bit of a lead, you kind of like farm up, you get your passive up a bit more, then you get another kill with your increased items from the gold from the first time, and all of a sudden like you're massively far ahead. And normal ADs don't have that, right? That's the biggest difference, and that's why you can snowball so hard. But Jhin is in like panic mode of, okay, if I double Doran's this, I have more health, and I mean, probably you should have gone shield, I guess, but either way, double Doran's means you have more. What is this kid doing? This is a master Korean game. Maybe he's a bit tilted after going against this Draven, but that was probably not the best idea ever. You'll notice as well, actually, Korean games, people tend to give up a little bit more and they tilt really hard. I don't know why necessarily, but it's just like culture in their games of like, okay, go next. So you'll see games snowball a bit more, but I mean, he does so much damage, right? You saw the Draven basically needed 4 auto attacks to kill that guy because of the advantage he got early. And now all of a sudden, he's going to have so much gold. If we look at his gold already, it's another 1,400. Like, he is 2,000 gold ahead of Jhin at the moment. And CS-wise, like, he's only got a 25 lead, which is quite a lot, I know. But in a normal game, if you're just an Ashe, for example, right, you have a 25 CS lead, that's not going to mean that much. 3 kills obviously does help and assist and stuff. But, like, in all honesty, he's got an extra 2,000 gold. And a lot of that's coming from his passive, which is pretty ridiculous. So, one thing I want to talk about as well, actually, one of the really cool things when I do spectate series like this is I can talk a lot and give you guys loads of information. So if you're here to like learn and stuff, I know I don't do as many educational videos anymore, but if you're here to learn, then it's a really good way of learning the champion properly and why they're actually so good. But anyway, so over in North America, and Europe as well, we're going Death Stance first pretty much every single game. Some people go Infinity Edge still, but most people are doing Death Stance. Another reason why I picked this game was because he just does stuff a bit differently, right? And we can look at a different build rather than what everybody is using at the moment. But Death Stance is really good early. It gives you cooldown reduction, which is actually pretty cool on Draven, because if you drop an axe, you have another one ready a bit sooner. Just quickly as well, remember this guy, at the moment Jhin is kind of backing off. Brand went top lane to help get a kill. So they're going to start moving around the map now because they can't 2v2 anymore, which kind of makes sense. That's how they're going to try and salvage this game. What Draven is doing is letting as many minions die to this tower to deny Jhin and get a massive lead as well. Like, what a lot of people would do is they'll take this first tower and then be like, okay, what do I do now, right? Like, how do I actually extend my lead anymore? This is a really good example. Like, one, he's killing him, which helps, but he only got that double kill at the very start of the game, right? Like, it's not out of control at that point. But this is where Draven really shines. Like, look at this ridiculous amount of damage. I think he's going to go in. He doesn't have his... oh boy. He doesn't have his flash yet, but he did have his heal, so he decided to dive. This is where, like, Draven players just get ridiculous. Oh, okay. And then he literally snapped. Nice. So we can see that he went boost too, and he went pickaxe. So whenever you're going Infinity Edge first, like, one of the biggest problems with it is that the crit cloak, like, part of it actually sucks. You don't really want to spend 800 gold on a crit cloak and not finish your Infinity Edge. So what a lot of people do will get the 2 AD parts, which are very effective, and then they'll get the Berserker Greaves afterwards, which is 800 gold, and it basically, like, is the same cost, but gives you way more. And you can kite as well, right? So you can actually chase people, you can kind of use your lead a bit more. If we look at the gold lead now, I know, like, this game's really ridiculous, yeah, 40 CS lead. But he is now 3,000 gold ahead. So you see what I mean about how he's... One of the reasons I picked this game is I know it's a bit snowbally, but I wanted to show you how, as a Draven player, like, you go aggressive early, you get a lead, and then actually how you make it bigger. Because if he had just, like, kind of farmed it out, you know, and just done stuff normally, like, he wouldn't have got this bigger lead, right? He's constantly trying to fight. He denied a lot of CS under the tower, which is why Jhin doesn't have that now. And what they've actually done is they've swapped this now to use his advantage and try and do something else with it. He ran away, which is really smart because Nidalee came over as well, so he could have got ganked there. But one of the biggest things is, like, if you're AD bot lane, you take your early tower and stuff, you're really strong, maybe you do actually want to swap, because otherwise, like, what else are you going to be doing, right? Good ultimate though, he actually cancels this as well, which is something really massive. Like, when you're throwing your ultimate, if you press R just before it lands onto somebody, then what that will do is instantly pull back and you don't actually have any time to dodge. He doesn't have any mana now, so I'm going to be surprised if he goes in anymore, but look how much damage this kid does. Is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think part of the reason, you know, he went boost to this game earlier than normal probably is also because that cheeky flash. That was really good. So we got the shutdown on Lily, which is really good. Even though they got a triple kill. This game's actually pretty even, which is another reason I think it's kind of cool to watch. But yeah, he probably got it as well to dodge Brand stuff and Jin. A lot of them have quite a lot of skill shots. So actually, I don't like getting boosted that early, but Infinity Edge is a bit different with the rush, obviously. And also, when you're against skill shots, it can actually be pretty good because you avoid a lot of damage. So it's kind of a way to keep yourself a bit healthier. But yeah, so you get bot lane tower, you swap with your top lane basically, and then you start to take that. Obviously, you can just go mid as probably a bit easier version right now. But look at, oh, I pressed the wrong button. But look at that, there's like 3 auto attacks, and he just kills somebody. This is what I mean about Draven players. Like, if you want to go aggressive, like a lot of people actually say to me, I'm like bronze, I'm silver, I'm gold, I play Draven, and I kind of roll my eyes a bit because he's quite a difficult champion to play well, I think. But you can definitely do it because look at this guy. This is a master tier game and he's completely like 1v5'd it so far. His team's not really doing anything. Like his Zed is just AFK mid lane pretty much, like 2 and 2. His Lee Sin is 1, 1 and 2. He hasn't actually, the jungler hasn't done anything. Like his Cassiopeia is 2 and 3. His Morgana's 1 and 2. Like I know his team's not playing that bad, but this guy is basically 1v5ing an entire master tier Korean game. And he's doing it because he's so aggressive. Every time anybody gets close to him, he's like, all right, you're dead. And he goes in and he does it, which is pretty ridiculous. They're also growing the lead, which is really cool, using the towers and stuff. And you'll see now he's going to go into his Zeal, I'm pretty sure, first of all. Yeah, Zeal, and he's got the Shard part. And then he'll get his Rapid Fire Cannon, and then he'll go into his Essence Reaver. So 3 items spike-wise is actually really good. But the one problem with this build is you don't have any life steal, which is why he goes to Warlords, right? Fervor is really good. He probably is going to watch for the Talon here. Yeah, okay. See how he just kind of like ran away a bit there? That was purely because Talon could be stealth right next to him. So he's playing pretty safe now, but I think he's waiting for his, yeah, he's trying to wait for his Warlords. He actually killed the Lee Sin. I'm surprised because most Draven players are dicks, so they wouldn't do that normally, but there you go. You see though, get top lane tower, go in the jungle, move down to mid. He's like systematically going through every lane and getting towers as well as kills and stuff. Obviously look at his score, is 8, 2 and 4 now. He's playing a really good game, but at the same time he's getting a lot of objectives, which helps his team massively. Now, even though this guy, this Nidalee is 2 levels above this Draven right now, and he's still trying to fight. This is how, like, this is when you play a good Draven, you can really tell, you can really 1v5 because he's just so aggro all the time. So maybe, honestly, this is going to sound really weird, and maybe I'm going to get flamed for this, but honestly, the best way to learn is probably to die a lot. You learn your limits, you learn what you can get away with, and over a course of time, you'll learn a lot quicker than if you play really passive. So maybe a lot of you guys are probably not the reason you lose, but are you really the reason that you guys are winning, right? That's kind of how you want to look at it, right? If you're not the reason you are winning games, then maybe you need to take a leaf out of this kid's book and just go super aggressive all the time. Obviously, you don't always get this kind of a start, but even so, like, he is taking every opportunity to fight because auto attacks actually do a ton of damage, right? So one of the reasons as well this build actually works massively is because he can now get a BF sword on his 3rd item and turn it into an Essence Reaver, and then he's got another BF sword item into Bloodthirster. So actually you have a 5 BF sword item build. What he's going to build most likely is going into his E. Look how much damage that one auto attack did, man. That's ridiculous. That's actually disgusting, honestly. Like, he did 60% of Jin's health there. Yeah, I think he's watching for the Talon, but with his ultimate, which is on cooldown, he should be able to come back in here. He's still taking a lot of damage, but you see how he's like sticking around trying to go in? There we go, he's got his ult back. Using his E as displacement here. Nice, got 2 kills, that's insane. So what he's doing every single time is he's using his E either as a gap closer to get the kills and get in range to actually attack, or he's using it as a 1v1 tool to displace somebody. It's actually crowd control. Like, I know it sounds really weird, but it's kind of like a stun, a mini stun. The displacement from it means they can't attack or do anything. So you actually, Draven is one of these famed characters for never having any crowd control and kind of being one-dimensional just to do damage. But actually, he does have crowd control with his kit, so it's actually still really good. But anyway, as I was saying, you have a 5 BF sword item build here, and that's insane for the amount of AD that you're going to be pumping into your Q. Obviously, your crits. He's got 2 items now, I believe, if you have a look. Oh, he's actually finished his Essence Reaver. So he has 3 items right now. He just crit a minion for 800 damage. Level 11, that's really ridiculous. So already he's doing a lot of damage, and now he's going to round it out with a Bloodthirster, another BF sword item, and then a Guardian Angel, which is another BF sword item now after the changes, which actually is one of the biggest reasons why Draven is so good now. Like, he's always been okay, but never the best, because he kind of takes a lot of skill to play. He's kind of like Lee Sin. always very good, but I never put him in my tier list because I'm like, it depends on the player, right? Draven's very much the same. But if you watch this guy right now, he's so aggressive and he's always using his rapid fire cannon auto attack when he can. Like when it's up, he's going to be using it. So that was a rapid fire cannon. He used that on the tower, I believe, actually, instead of the brand. But even so, like if that a crit can do a lot of damage, 800 crit with the Q is absolutely ridiculous in 3 items. And it's just going to keep getting worse because of the amount of AD pumping. But yeah, so Draven's popularity came out of the Guardian Angel rework mostly. He's been really strong anyway, but there are not that many lane bullies anymore. Like we have Caitlyn. Draven's notoriously been a very good pick against Caitlyn because she wants to poke you. Draven's just gonna like say, yeah, screw that and fight you constantly. So you can't really poke a Draven down very well, not with auto attacks. Like Caitlyn wants to just auto attack all the time, right? But Draven's a pretty good counter to that because he will always trade autos with you and he's always gonna win, right? So you finally get the mid tower down. You can see though, he hasn't really moved from mid after like the getting top lane turret. He's constantly trying to get the towers. Like that's, I know it sounds weird. Yes, he's got a lot of kills and he's fighting people all the time and stuff, but really his primary objective more than anything is actually let me get objectives. He's like controlled pretty much every lane in the towers and stuff, and that's how you really use your advantage. Okay, we're actually going in now, which is pretty crazy. Zed's finally decided to do something, which is nice. And the good thing about this at least is holy moly, he just flashed in the tower. Now that's a typical Draven move right there. If Draven spotting was a thing, that would legit be it. That's unfortunate as well because they just popped the Rift Herald and then all of a sudden he goes into suicide. Now that probably wasn't the smartest idea ever, but obviously as a Draven you can kind of get away with it a little bit. And as you see now, again, he's got another BF sword. So he's up to almost 300 AD, which is pretty ridiculous. If we go on to, what would Jhin be? 4 probably. Jin's got 200 AD, and the Jhin has a passive that gives him more AD as well, so that's actually pretty ridiculous. You see, with this build, with the crit build and triple crit now, he is going to have probably, let me quickly work this out. So it'll be 20% on this, 20% on this, I believe as well. 40, that's going to be 70% crit, so yeah, is that right? I'm really paranoid to get that wrong. No, that is 70% crit, so that's a lot. He slaps the nib, which is awesome. That's a lot of crit right now, so he's going to be shredding Baron, he's going to be shredding objectives, fights as well. He's probably 1 or 2 bursting people, and a lot of this has come from his passive. If we look, he's got like what? He has got 60 CS lead, so that is obviously pretty good, but let's compare it to the Lucian, right, the top laner. He has an extra 6,000 gold on this Lucian. Now, if we also compare it to the rest of his team, mid lane, same CS, relatively similar score, just down 6 kills, he has got 5,000 more gold than this guy. So that is the power of Draven's passive, and one of the things I wanted to show with this game is once you get ahead, you are actually one of the few ADs where the game is legit in your hands. Like, you can actually do, there's no AD carry in 2K17 meme with Draven. Like, you get ahead, and you will be able to kill everybody. So there's no real struggle of ending a game or anything like that. You're able to just keep adding gold totals, and all you have to do is move around, pick fights and stuff. Oh, so finally, 4 items, we now have lifesteal. This is one of the uncommon things, and I think like the lower down you get actually in career, I was going to say that's pretty ballsy going in on Talon on his own, but 600 crit. Does he have any armor on Talon? I wonder. He's Tabbies though, so Tabbies is a really good counter Draven. They actually reduce your Q damage, I'm 9% sure. And even through Tabbies with the damage reduction, crits for 600, that's insane. So, I can't remember what I was saying. No! Yeah, so, okay, as you get lower down the ladder, life still becomes more important. This is one of the reasons I say Death Dance or Bloodthirst or Rush is really good, because you don't have to position as perfectly, you can go more aggressive. You'll still have good damage, you won't have these massive crits, but what you will have is more safety and it'll be harder to kill, which probably like surviving is just as high as damaging at lower ranks. So that's why I think Death Dance is more popular here, and also lower down the ranks in Korea we have a lot of Bloodthirster rushes. The higher up you get, the more we have Infinity Edge, and I think that's kind of a deal with all of these guys. Like the Challenger Master Tier 1s, High Diamond 1 as well, who play a lot of Draven games, pretty much always go for Infinity Edge. Right here, you can see he's kind of like scared of going in because the rest of his team is actually dead. And that's why. Zed is split pushing, Lee Sin's backed off. He's kind of caught though, because if you run into the Jhin ultimate, like there's not really much you're going to be able to do, right? So it's unfortunate, but there isn't much he can actually do. And also, the one thing to bear in mind with this game is he really is solo carrying. And I know I keep saying this, but like he is 16,000 gold of his team. So that is way more than his share. Like the rest of them are just getting past like 10k, and he's got a 6k lead on some of those people, which is just absolutely stupid. He's going for BF Sword onto last item again. Instead of the Cloth Element 4, he's going Angel now. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're like, you want a high damaging build, the most carry potential is going to be this build that he's going with Essence Reaver. I know Essence Reaver seems really weird, right? Holy moly, that rapid fire damage. I know Essence Reaver seems really weird, but it's actually really good if you don't need the lifesteal. If you need lifesteal or anything like that, then you kind of, I would say, go for Bloodthirst or Death Dance first. Death Dance is actually really good, because especially if you get double lifesteal later into the game, if you get a Death Dance and then you get a Bloodthirster later, in, like with the double lifesteal and how much you heal as Draven, you just don't really die ever, especially with Guardian Angel. But I guess this is more of like an advanced Draven build. Is he actually going to go to the Fragcon? He is going to go for it. That BM, bro. That BM. That was a massive crit through Phantom Lancer as well. That's kind of crazy. I love watching good Draven players, man. It's so much fun. This is partly why I wanted to do it, because I think it's actually interesting watching a really good Draven just spank a game anyway. And there's a lot. Oh, it's hot as hell. There's a lot you can learn about that. That was lucky, because Nid is definitely going to kill him right there. But yeah, so I think that's pretty ridiculous of a game. Obviously, that's like best case scenario. I'm not saying every Draven game is going to be like that, but it does give you a good idea of how you close out a lead with an AD carrier with the Draven. So remember, he went bot lane tower, denied as much as possible, and then he moved to top lane, moved to mid lane afterwards. So really, because he's an early game AD, he doesn't necessarily need to farm up. He's at a point where he out damages people anyway, and he can actually fight. One of the biggest differences with Draven to other ADs, he doesn't need to farm. So he just kind of groups and he fights people like a mid laner or a top laner would want to do, right? Rather than having to sit there and farm and like maintain farm and stuff, he's taking farm top, he's taking farm mid. He's actually keeping up a little bit with it, but not the high CS totals. He's just fighting and taking objectives instead. And this is one of the biggest things for Draven. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the new build, and look at why Draven is probably the best AD, I would say, in 7.12 now. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the video. Let me know if you prefer a gameplay next time of me just like having a bit of fun with it. Probably not quite as clean or as good, but we could do that. Or if you want me to do more of these spectate series. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.